There's like 8 things to touch on in that one. So we started off with first, let's see, the 100 Years' War. Now, that's one when people hear about it, they go, wow, a war that lasted 100 years. Well, it wasn't 100 years of continuous battles. We had lots of timeouts for, okay, the last king died, let's wait for the new one to come in.
Here comes the Black Plague,
here comes the Black
Death.
Death. Half our population is dead, we'll wait for that to replenish, and so forth. But basically that was a series of battles over the fact that, the English nobility and the French nobility were kind of related, and can say, oh, that duchy over there actually should be mine, because my brother, inherited it from you, and through my mother. And
my brother's second cousin's aunt.
So you had England invading France for 100 years. And Joan of Arc was a thing in that battle. Agincourt was another episode of that battle. Let's see, what of those we have now? Oh, you want to talk about France fishing in troubled waters?
Sure. England beat the English Navy and the Kamikaze, defeated the Spanish Armada. When the Spanish Armada was attacking England, the British used some pretty cool tactics and scattered the Spanish Navy. And then the Spanish Navy said, well, let's go, instead of trying to fight our way back through the British fleet, let's go around England and Scotland and Ireland and come down the long way. And they got hit by killer storms that destroyed them. You see, if you're ever going to invade an island country, and you're doing a fleet to use it, watch out for the weather. Happened in Japan twice, almost happened a third time, and happened in England here. So then France turns around and starts whaling on Spain and slices a big chunk of northern Spain off and takes it over. The province's name I cannot remember right now.
They didn't keep it forever anyway.
Well, no, it's still part of France.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, because it's north of the Pyrenees Mountains. The French stopped conquering stuff from Spain when they hit these big tall mountains because it's real hard to march up and down and all that routine.
Andorra?
No. No. This is a province of France. It's part of metropolitan France now. And it's got a really cool name that I cannot remember.
And we looked this up at some point and it's totally evaporated from our head.
Unfortunately, this building doesn't let us use internet.
Well, the internet, how do we access the universal intelligence? And of course we had the War of the Austrian Succession. Go.
The Austrian emperor was getting old, and there was a law on the books in Austria that said only a boy can inherit. You can't have a girl take the throne. Well, the Austrian emperor had exactly one kid who reached adulthood, and that was his daughter, Maria Theresa Habsburg, who was extremely smart and very forceful, and everybody loved her, but she's a woman. And they had a thing called the Salic bar that says you cannot inherit through your mom. So what he did was he said, I want my daughter to be the next ruler of Austria, and he published this big thing called the Pragmatic Sanction. And then he sent copies to all the other kings and said, here, sign this saying you agree with this, so when I die, my daughter can take my throne and you won't cause troubles. Well, when he did die, and Maria Theresa said, I'm in charge now, Frederick II, King of Prussia, Frederick the Great, and there's someone dressed as Fritz in the back. Oh, Prussian general? Sorry. Put a tricord on her and she'd look like Fritz. Oh, okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll do Fritz later. Yeah, that's not a tricord. But still, it's cool. That's a half moon cap. Oh yeah. So Frederick the Great says, tough. This treaty I signed, rip, rip, tear, tear, shred, blah, ha, 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 ha. You've got this province called Silesia that's full of coal mines and industry, and I want it. It's my precious. So he invades, and they fight this big long war, and a whole bunch of other countries in Europe decide, hey, this is cool, I'm going to take off a slice too, and they all invaded. And Maria Theresa ended up kicking most of their butts. But in military history, we never hear of Maria the Great, we hear of Frederick the Great because he won all of his battles. And when the War of Austrian Succession ended up, it was, she preserved everything. She got to inherit everything except Silesia, which had Prussian armies on it. So a few years later, she got together with the Russian Empress and with the mistress of the King of France and said, let's go get Frederick. And then we have the 7 Years' War, which over here we call the French and Indian War. But in any event,
So, yes, more about Frederick. Oh, before we get into that, if you also want to see a little bit more there of anime realization of Maria Theresa, anybody here has watched Rose of Versailles? If you have not, you should. It's a classic of anime. It's been referenced in any number of places from...
Pokemon.
Well, it's been referenced in Pokemon, it's been referenced in Ranma 1/2, it's been referenced in Gundam Wing, and what is with the sword and the Bros Bride and the thing. Lieutenant. Revolutionary Lieutenant. The whole thing is a bloody homage to watch Rose of Versailles, it's awesome. And with Maria Theresa, what her daughter was Marie Antoinette. And the whole thing there is about Marie Antoinette going over to France and the hilarity that ensued there. So, one more point, yes, having mentioned Frederick. So yeah, about Prussia's outfit. Okay, so yes, Nana Alta, yeah, that's that Kartoffel. Well, Kartoffel is German for potato. And Alta is known as Alta Fritz, Old Fritz, which is the nickname for this guy we're talking about. Yes, Frederick II of Prussia. And I edited together this whole little video, basically just on him. Frederick II was really kind of an amazing guy. He was a polymath, he did everything. Besides being a military commander, he wrote music. The piece of music you hear in the background is a flute concerto that he composed. That's him there. And I think that's basically what Prussia's costume is based on in this picture. He would make a perfect anime character because as a youth, he was, into art and philosophy and reading. His father was the stereotypical, German, intolerant, war is good for your health and you're not being manly enough, so I'll beat you until your morale improves. So Henry tried on several occasions. Here he is playing the flute at his palace of Sanssouci. So at one point in his youth, Frederick tried to escape with his best friend, Hans Hermann von Katte, who was widely believed that he's probably gay. So they're captured as they're trying to escape from Prussia. Brought back, and since they're both members of the army, trying to escape means desertion, which is technically treason. So, according to the story, as Frederick is languished in prison, Kata is marched out to the courtyard, within Frederick's view of his cell. As he is being taken away, Frederick says, my dear Kata, 1,000 apologies, and Kata looks up and says, my prince, you have nothing to apologize for. I mean, couldn't you just see that being an anime scene right there? But yes, he grows up, and when he inherits from his father, he reads philosophy. His best friend was the French poet Voltaire, who he frequently hosted at his palace Sanssouci. This is a memorial monument to Frederick in Berlin. He won almost all the battles that he fought, and the few that he didn't, he was able to recover from very quickly. He studied botany at Sanssouci. He had these terraced gardens with little inlays for different kinds of plants, and the potato. Particular, he introduced the potato to Germany. Now, there's several instances in Hetalia where Italy's talking about, Germany's squishy potatoes, blah, 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 blah. Well, Germany has the potato because of him, but why did he introduce the potato? Because he thinks potatoes are especially delicious? No. Because Germany